Niggas. 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 I have quite a story to tell right now. So I'm in my room yesterday, Christmas Eve and shit, and I'm playing League, you know, chilling in my room. And my boy comes through. He comes in my room and he's like, hey, nah, you're not sitting here all night for Christmas Eve. And I'm like, it's Christmas Eve. It's not like New Year's Eve or some shit. Like, there's nothing where to read. What's your idea? So he's like, yeah, we should go to this bar. And I'm like, I don't even fuck with bars, because if I go out, it's because I'm gonna go dance. In a bar, you're not gonna dance, and I don't even drink. So there's really, the fuck's like pterodactyls outside and shit. So there's like actually no reason for me to go to a bar. He's like, nah, nigga, we're gonna go to this bar. I'm like, where's that? He's like, it's in Independence. Now, Independence is an hour away. So I'm like, we're gonna drive an hour away to go to a bar. This idea already is terrible. So I get dressed, we drive all the way to fucking Independence, and we're at this little bar, yada yada. It was better than I thought it was gonna be. Like, it was nice. It was like some little like glow. They had some little glow theme or some shit going on. So that was dope. And there was a dance floor, a little bit. It had like a little space where you could go and dance and shit. Nothing too crazy is going on. I'm like, okay, at least it's just not like a typical bar shit. So then this girl comes in. She's the only attractive girl I've seen in this area. One of the only ones I've seen in this state. There's not, the Missouri is yeah. So she's like on the side of the dance floor. She's not dancing. So I go out and I grab her and I start trying to get her to dance and shit. So we're dancing, we're blah blah, having fun, yada yada. And eventually we finish dancing. She goes like back off the floor and shit. So I go off, I talk to her for a little bit. My boy, who drove us here, I see him and this nigga is turned all the way up. Like, I don't even know what combination of drinks. I have just no clue. So this nigga's turned to the max, and I'm watching him like, yo, wait, what? Like, how the fuck are we gonna get home? I leave out the place because they have like, it's like a little patio thing, so they have like a little fire shit outside. I go outside, I'm talking to people, yada yada. So my boy starts talking to this girl, the girl that came in. Now, he didn't know, I hope he didn't know that I was talking to her, like I was trying to do anything with her. So now I have a decision, because I come back into the place, I see them talking, I know what he's trying to do. So I'm like, damn, okay, he's drunk as shit. Like, I can either be like a complete queer and like go over and try to disrupt this shit and like try to do it myself, or, you know, like, fuck it, whatever, just it's not like the fucking, you know, it's not like you really have claims on the bitch. So I'm like, yeah, you know what, it's whatever. So I just let him. So it seemed like a fine idea to just let them, you know, like, see if they could hit it off. Seemed like a, you know, it's like it's Christmas and shit, you know, it's like the bro thing to do. That was until I see them exchanging numbers and shit. So I'm like, okay. So he walks over to me. He's like, yeah, bro, she just put her number on my phone. She like made me text her and shit, yada yada. So I'm like, so now I gotta pretend like I'm happy for this nigga. Like, what? Oh, that's crazy. You got her number. Hey, good shit, dude. No, good shit. You know, I feel you. Eventually, blah blah, night goes on, and we're getting ready to leave. So now, keep in mind, this nigga is completely still drunk and underage. This nigga is drunk and underage, and he is about to drive this vehicle. So he's in the car. He gets a phone call from her from inside the place. So he answers the phone, yada yada, and I'm in the car with him, so I can hear her over the phone. She's like, oh, come to the door, or something, blah blah. So he gets out the car, he goes over to the door, and these niggas start making out. So I'm like, okay, all right. So this is how that worked out right now. So he comes back to the car, and he's hype as fuck, obviously, right? So he's like turned up and shit, blah blah. This is like the only hot girl that was there, and he's like, yo, nigga, I'm about to fuck this bitch. I'm about to get my dick wet. So like he's and I'm like and I'm like, oh, that's crazy, my dang, that's so dope. I'm so proud of you, man. You God, you're the young God. So he's like, yeah, bro. She lives like right down the street. She wants me to go to her house. And I'm like, does she know that I'm with? Because I met her too. Because obviously I talked to her earlier. So I'm like, does she know that I'm with you? And she's like, yeah, she knows. So I'm like, wait. So she wants you to go to her house, obviously to fuck her. She knows I'm with you. Like he's like, this is what she said. She said that we could, if we want to drive all the way back home, we could sleep at her house, like in the living room or some shit. And he's like, yeah, but you know, I ain't about to be sleeping in the living room, my nigga. You know what I'm about to be doing? I'm like, oh yeah, no, I feel you, dog. So basically, this bitch, she wants him to come over and fuck her while I sleep on the couch. Like, what? That's like the most selfish shit I've ever even just been a part of in my entire life. Like, so this nigga's like, yeah, sorry, bro, you gonna be sleeping on the couch tonight. This is like the birth of the most goon shit situation ever. Like, I'm not about to sleep in my room. I'm about to sleep at someone else's house on their couch while they get fucked. He's like, yeah, she told me to follow her. So I see her in the parking lot. And this nigga starts driving, and he's like, he's looking down at his phone. He's like, hey, is she pull off? And I'm like, no, she's right there. And he was just at her car with her. So he's like, yeah, no, this car right here is her. And I'm like, no, it isn't. Like, I just saw her. She's over there. And he's like, no, dude, for sure. Like, I just walked to her car. She drives a blah, 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 whatever car it was. And I was like, well, no, I mean, she literally had her window rolled down. I looked at her. I looked at her hands on the fucking steering wheel. That's not her car. And he's like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So I'm like, all right, fine, fuck it, because whatever, like, do you. So this nigga starts driving and following this car. And he's driving. Now, keep in mind, the car is driving like it's trying to have no one follow it. The car is not even trying to make it easy for him to follow it. So we're on the highway, and he calls this bitch. He's like, yeah, I'm right behind you. Yeah, no, there's like a green Pontiac behind you. Oh, no? There's not? Oh, no, alright, I'm gonna get next to you. I'm gonna drive next to you. That's not you? And I'm just sitting there like, I already told you, dumbass, I wasn't her. So he's like, alright, fuck it, just give me the address, So we get to this bitch's house, and we get out the car, and we see her sister. I saw her sister at the bar too. So her sister's like, yeah, you guys, were you here to hang out with Courtney or whatever? And we're like, yeah, she told us she invited us over, she gave us an address, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, she's like completely asleep. like, what? Asleep? Like, we literally just talked to her less than 10 minutes ago. She's not asleep. So she's like, yeah, I tucked her in, like, she went to sleep, and I left her house just now, and I, like, locked the door behind me. This is why I falter as a man. So in a normal situation, I would assess, okay, she's obviously not asleep. She obviously, for whatever reason now, she doesn't want to do this. So she had her sister come outside, tell us that she's asleep, because she doesn't want to do this, she wants us to leave. So I'm going to take that as what it is, and I'm gonna leave. I'm not going to go do anything else, because obviously if that's not what she wants, then that's not what she wants. That's fine. Who cares? So I would dip. This nigga, no. This nigga wants the pussy. This nigga, he's like, hey, no, what door? That door right there? That's the door? That's where she at. So that's how this nigga walks over. So he's knocking on the door. Do. Courtney! Do. Just like knocking on the door and shit. This nigga's looking through this shit. He's like, yeah, I saw. He's like, is it only her in there? No, nigga, because I just saw her. I just saw this bitch walk past this thing. So he's like, hey, no. He calls her sister back up. He's like, hey, no, come up here. So he gets her sister to like to get her to open the door and shit. And this bitch opens the door like, oh, hey, like she just woke up and shit. Bitch. So she's like, yeah, I was just gonna crash, and like, you know, I was just gonna go to sleep. And now a lot of funny things about this. But for one, the bitch's house smelled like straight food, which is already funny because after we go inside and I saw this bitch had like a heated up like fucking like Marie Callender's dinner or some shit. It's like, bitch, you were not asleep. You just heated that Marie Callender dinner though. So we go in, we're all inside, and her sister wants to leave, and she's like, and now her sister is like doing typical sister shit. Her sister's like trying to be cockblock master. So like I'm conflicted because like obviously this is my boy. I want him to, you know, I want it's we practically share cock. When you're homies, you share cock. So it's like, you know, it's like we both kind of getting fucked. Not really, because my situation is a lot worse. But it's like, you know, you want him to have fun, and then like the sister like wants no one to fuck her sister. She's trying her hardest to make sure nobody fucks her sister. So like partially I want her to win because I don't want to sleep on the couch while this nigga fucks this bitch. But at the same time, it's like that's my boy. So, you know, I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm in there. I don't know what's gonna happen. So the sister's like, yeah, you know, Courtney, we have Christmas in the morning, you know, mom, blah, blah, you know, mom, she's going to come over, and we got to be up in like 5 hours, and she's probably going to come here in the morning, and like she's getting all this shit, you know, telling her sister all this shit. So now I guess her sister's idea was like, if I leave, my sister won't like the idea of being in this house by herself with these two guys. So, but her sister didn't care, and she was drunk, obviously. And before she leaves out, she's like, yeah, you know, I think mom might come. So like, we looked at each other like, your mom might come here at 2 in the morning. Your mom might come here. We're thinking like, you know, that's just her sister. She's just trying to like fucking like cock block and shit. Yeah. So eventually her sister leaves. This nigga's trying to still set it up. He's you know, he's on a mission. This nigga is determined. So he's on a mission. So then Courtney says her mom texted her and says she's on her way. So I'm thinking like, yo, your mom's not on her way. And your mom definitely didn't text you anything. That's what I'm thinking. Now, my boy, this nigga, your mom texted you that? Let me see that shit. Let me see that text. So this nigga starts trying to grab her phone and shit. Like, he refuses to not have this pussy. He refuses. He will not let this out of his grasp. So he's trying to get her phone and shit. He's like, that's not even your mom. Like, he's when she was talking to me about it earlier, she's like, oh my god, like if my mom shows up, like you have no idea. Like my mom doesn't even know I've like ever even talked to a black person. She's like, yeah, she doesn't even know I've even talked to a black, like let alone like two, like if you guys were both, like she came in and she saw both you guys. So I'm like, damn, like damn. So they're in the room, I'm outside, and I hear her on the phone. Here's where it gets fishy, because I wasn't in there, so I don't know how it happened. All I know is that she answered the phone, but I don't know if she answered it or she made the call. But somehow she got in contact on the phone with her mom. So all I hear is like, hello, mom? And I'm like, and she's like, you're coming here? Right now? My boy, she's walking around the house. He's following her, like trying to put his ear on the phone and shit. He's like, this nigga wants to make sure her mom is really truly coming. So apparently her mom actually is coming. So she starts freaking out, like, oh my god, like no, you guys have to go, blah blah. My mom's coming, yada yada. So I'm like, you know, Lord, I've come to you today, thanking you for saving my soul. You know how bad it would have been to be on the couch. The couch was not even big. The couch was, I can't even lay on that cross the hell. Okay. To be on that couch, on my phone, awake, the wall fucking thinner than my limp dick, I would have heard everything going on. I would have just threw up. So we end up leaving. So he calls this bitch, and she's like, he calls this bitch, he's like, hey yo, so where's your mom at? So she's like, oh no, she's coming in right now. So this nigga turns on his car and he drives to the front. He's like, hey, he's like, what the fuck? How did her mom even get in there? And he's like, nah, nigga, her mom ain't there. And he's like, no, I'm about to pull up. He's like, all right, if her mom's there, we're gonna see these lights turn on right now. We're gonna see these lights in the living room. Like the lights turn on, and he's like, fuck, her mom's there. So we pull off. Let me read you the text that was received here. So he says what? She says, I have to call the police. The cops are on their way here. Oh my god, my mom called the cops. What the fuck did you do? Seriously, what the fuck? I'm just gonna come there. Oh my god. And being psycho. Just sober up and drive safe. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. So these niggas called the cops. Come to find out, the reason why her mom called the cops is because she came in the house and this nigga left his fucking hat. So her mom came in the crib, saw the hat, she knew it was a nigger hat, and she immediately calls the cops. So I'm like, do not tell this bitch where IHOP. Because the cops are going to show up. She's like, oh my god, he's drunk, I want him to drive, he's at IHOP right now, and the cops are going to show up here. So this dumbass nigga still tells him where IHOP. I don't know if there's a moral to this story, truly. What I do know is that I hadn't eaten all day, and I had some chicken and waffles, my nigga, and that shit was so bomb, so bomb. So, at the end of the day, the cops showed up, we left in the nick of time. Moms knows there's niggers in the house. This bitch and her sister are crazy. And I found out after seeing her at the crib, after she got undressed, you know, took a little bit, you know, she washed her face a little bit. This bitch wasn't all that. Oh, she wasn't all that. She was, you know, she was cute. But she would, you know, she. I wasn't tripping that hard after I saw what was going on. I was like, you know, let me just get this IHOP in my life. Let me just eat this food real quick. You know, it's all gonna be good. That's pretty much how that night ended. So that went from almost being the worst thing that's ever happened to me this year to you know, a decent story. A decent story. I'm gonna definitely remember. I'm gonna remember that shit. That's really, truly funny. Anyway, Merry Christmas to everybody, and Happy Holidays and all that shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm about to do. It's boring as fuck. I'm hungry. Everything's closed. I didn't even think about everything's closed today, so I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna eat. But hope everybody has a good one. You know, I'll say a silent prayer for my soul. You know, was saved in the nick of time. But yeah, all right. I'll catch you guys. Peace, niggas.